In the early hours of July 29, 1890, with his brother Theo by his side, Vincent Van Gogh's last words were, "The sadness will last forever." After suffering for 30 hours from what is considered to be a self-inflicted gun wound, Van Gogh's turbulent life came to an end. Just the year before, in June 1889, Van Gogh completed what would arguably become his most famous painting, the Starry Night. The history and details of this masterpiece beautifully tell the life story of Vincent Van Gogh. The painting was completed during Van Gogh's stay at an asylum in southern France. One of the most commonly told stories of his life is when, in a mental breakdown, Vincent cut off part of his ear. Eventually, this breakdown and a struggle to gain control of his mental health led to his admission into the asylum. Van Gogh's mental struggles became a common theme during the last few years of his life story. The first characteristic of the Starry Night that people often notice is the movement throughout the sky. This wandering chaos can become representative of Van Gogh's lack of direction throughout his own life. Before devoting his life to art, Van Gogh tried his hand in various careers. First, a run as a successful art salesman ended due to his dislike for the commoditization of art. He also unhappily worked as a bookstore clerk. In addition, he tried following in his father's footsteps and gave religion a shot, but he failed a theology entrance exam and then became a missionary for only a short time. Throughout his life, he frequently moved and struggled to keep relationships. This movement throughout Van Gogh's life is mirrored in the movement and wave-like structure of the sky. Towards the bottom middle of the painting, the church steeple is hard to miss. Religion was a big part of Vincent Van Gogh's life. Vincent's father was a minister and his uncle a theologian. He frequently mentioned religious themes throughout the more than 800 surviving letters we have today written by Van Gogh, and he often portrayed these themes throughout his works. The night sky would likely not have been as bright over this small town as Van Gogh depicted. The Starry Night is more about what Vincent felt and imagined, rather than what he saw. But the night sky and rolling hills reflect his love for the countryside. In 1874, he wrote to his brother Theo, "Always continue walking a lot and loving nature, for that's the real way to learn to understand art better and better. Painters understand nature and love it and teach us to see." The painting characteristics in the Starry Night show Van Gogh's influence and participation in the Post-Impressionism art movement. Those thick brushstrokes and application of paint, the contrasting blue and yellow colors, and the overall distortion of form are all common within the Post-Impressionism movement. One of the most prominent objects in this painting is the cypress tree in the forefront of the scene. Cypress trees had long represented mourning. Vincent had a lot to mourn throughout his life. Failed friendships, a lack of support in his art career from family, except from his brother Theo, rejections in romantic relationships, and little appreciation for his art until the last couple years of his life. It wouldn't be until decades later that the world would start to recognize Vincent Van Gogh as one of the greatest artists in history. The scene in the Starry Night is depicted shortly before sunrise. Whether Van Gogh had been painting during the night or he woke up early, this shows Van Gogh's dedication to art. In the short 10 years that he focused on art, he completed over 2,000 works. His love for and dedication to his craft was frequently expressed in the writings to his brother. Mostly self-taught and influenced by Impressionists and Neo-Impressionists, he pushed the boundaries by bringing more emotion into the style of this time, contributing to the aforementioned Post-Impressionism movement. The darker colors used in this painting are representative of the recent dark times in Van Gogh's life. Early on in his art career, his paintings mostly contained dark colors, but after his move to Paris in 1886, you'll notice the influence of Impressionists, as brighter colors became more common in his works. Towards the end of his life, though, he started to bring back some of those darker colored paintings. But even in the darkness of this scene, the light from the stars and the light from the windows in the town show some sort of hope. Vincent often mentioned the hope that stars brought. In one letter he wrote, "Be clearly aware of the stars and infinity on high. Then life seems almost enchanted after all. Finally, the title of this beautiful painting, The Starry Night, shows Vincent Van Gogh's obsession with the night sky throughout his life. Perhaps he related to the darkness of the night sky, like the darkness that consumed his life. But even in the dark chaos, he tried to find glimmers of hope, or stars, as shown when he wrote, "When I have a terrible need of, shall I say the word, religion, then I go out and paint the stars." His religious beliefs by the end of his life are still somewhat debated, but are mostly agreed to have changed over time, as he believed that God didn't exist in a church, but in nature and in people. A very modern view for the time. Regardless, it seems that somehow he found periodic glimmers of hope. I hope you found this video helpful in learning about the life story of Vincent van Gogh through his most famous painting. I'd love to hear how you connect with The Starry Night, so please comment below. And if you'd like more of my art history videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified of when I publish new videos.